Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rates and Lanes podcast with your host, Rico Muhammad, and your co-host, which is me, Chuck Snow. Your host, Rico Muhammad, may not be joining us this evening. He's set us all up to have an incredible conversation. This show is being pre-recorded because I have with us no other than Marty Glomb, who is the chairman of the American Truck Historical Society. And Marty's a good friend of mine. And Marty is going to tell our listeners all about the show. And I've got a million questions. So there's a convention coming up next week in Springfield, Missouri. And those of you that haven't been to Springfield should take a trip down because it is a beautiful part of America. Really scenic. You're right in the Ozarks. And especially if you like old trucks, this is the place to be because, you know, every time we have an ATHS convention, you can count on somewhere between, 8 and 1,100 trucks?
Yeah.
So, Marty, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, Chuck, it's really my pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity. Y'all are so good to ATHS, and I'm just really happy to be here with you.
And ladies and gentlemen, the American Truck Historical Society, because some of you aren't even aware of it, it was formed, if I'm not mistaken, about 51, 52 years ago.
1971, Chuck.
Oh, a little bit longer. Okay. Yeah. So 55 years. This is our 55th anniversary. Marty, fix my numbers if I'm wrong, but I think there's around 14,000 members.
We're up to 20,000.
Whoa.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yes,
because
it really
you know what?
is.
That's been a concern for us for a while.
It certainly has.
Unfortunately, most of us have a best before date, and a lot of our members, their best before, their expiry date has come up. and younger, unfortunately, in a lot of service clubs and other sorts of clubs, the younger generation just doesn't have the time. If you're running a trucking company or you're even running one truck, you may not have the time. You come home and you clean windows and, fix the kid's bike and fix the washing machine and have a nap and maybe go see your mother or something. And you know what? Your reset is done. You got to get back to it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Whether you own your own truck, you're driving for somebody, and if you're running a trucking company, we all know what that's been like during this freight depression the last few years. So chances are you didn't have a lot of time to spend on extracurricular activities, especially old trucks. But I'm glad to see this thing is kicked back in. That is fantastic.
Yeah, COVID was tough for us all, right, for a lot of different reasons. We did learn some very valuable lessons through that, and some things, learned a way to do some things that we never thought possible. And it really has improved our member retention, our new members. Our executive director, Dr. John Gravely, has just done a fantastic job, along with the rest of the staff, Brad, Courtney, Darren, Marina, and they just work their butts off down there and make sure that everybody that calls or is even interested, feels welcome. And Brandy too. We had a membership meeting the other night, chapter development meeting the other night. There's some new faces on there. There's some new chapters coming. I think there are about, don't quote me, there's more than 90 chapters associated with ATHS. And we call it our national convention. It's really becoming an international thing.
Yes. There's been quite a group every year from Australia, from Canada. I have met lots of people from Europe. Now, this year, I understand we have a very good-sized Mexican contingent.
We do.
Joining us. So, first of all, let's get the dates straight. It starts is the 2nd of June. It starts.
So, yeah, we'll be there Monday, but Tuesday and Wednesday, trucks will be showing up. We'll be parking trucks The event really kicks off on Thursday, the 4th. So the 4th, 5th, and 6th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, are really the prime time.
Yeah.
Most everybody will be there that's going to be there. All the trucks will be in place. We'll have, the demonstrations, the presentations, the ice cream social, there's so much going on. A good amount of exhibitors this year. Some live demonstrations. It's just a really cool deal. I can't.
And it's a great place. It's a great place to hear the history, and I think this is what got me involved. First of all, I love old trucks. I'm a collector, always loved them, but I've always been there were two subjects I liked in school: history and geography, and I did fairly well in them. And the history of the trucking industry in North America is fascinating.
Oh, truly is. And we say go for the truck, stay for the people, and that's so true, Chuck. I can't tell you how much that means to a lot of people there to be able to share their story, share their history. Every truck's got a story, right? At least everyone I've owned does.
Yeah, it's true.
And there's so much knowledge and so many incredible experiences out there.
Yeah. I think for some of the younger people out there that are struggling in the industry, whether they're struggling as a driver or an owner operator, or even a fleet owner, if you go to these things, history does repeat, and there's so much wisdom. You talk to some of the members that I have met there that where you wouldn't know it, but these people owned fleets of thousands of trucks, thousands, and you're just walking around with a trucker cap on and jeans and boots, and you get talking to these people. And if you're struggling with any aspect of the trucking industry, you want answers, I really believe this is where you're going to find them.
I think you're right. I mean, there's so much wisdom out there and so many experiences. I can't always tell you what to do, but I can tell you what not to do.
That's
right.
So it's true.
There's so many lessons learned, and if I could share anything, or anybody can share any of that with someone that's genuinely interested and save them a little bit of heartburn, well, then it's mission accomplished.
Well, and that's one of the reasons I love going to these shows is people are so generous. Nobody holds back. They don't hold back who they are or what they did, and whether they had a hard time. I've met people there say, yeah, I had a company, we had 100 trucks, we went under. We lost our biggest customer. We were it happens. Some of us come out winners and some of us are casualties. It happens. But you want to listen to the people that had problems and the people that didn't. And but nobody holds back on anything, whether it's how to maintain a truck or how to run a fleet. People are just generous with their information. And I think that's where a lot of the younger people, I'm talking about the people under 50 that aren't familiar with this, that don't particularly like old trucks. Well, that's fine, or don't value old trucks. And teach his own. And I realize that, you can't be running a 50-year-old truck up and down the highway. It's not economical today, especially with diesel fuel being as expensive as it is.
Right.
You talk to people now that are getting 8, 9, 10 miles per gallon. Well, when we were out there pounding pavement, 4 or 5 was acceptable.
Pretty darn good, right? Pretty good. Yeah. There's a lot of them in the double digits,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're getting more and more of that now.
Right. The technology is amazing.
We all suffered with it for a while.
Right. I just watched a little bit of a tutorial on Cummins' new package and their electronic after treatment system, and it's a whole new approach to to
Yeah.
that system, and it'd be interesting to see how it works.
Well, you know what it's getting on to closer to almost 20 years. I think the first ones came out with around 2008 with the deaf, and it was a nightmare. And
Yeah.
I think probably the worst trucks ever built were probably 2008, 2009.
Yeah, Caterpillar got out of on highway in 2010 just for that very reason.
Because stuff was garbage.
Yeah,
And
just
then depending on where you were running or who your customers were, if you had customers that insisted on new equipment, you could argue till you're blue in the face and say, you know what, the old stuff's better. And they go, no, some guy that's never been in a truck, but he wants green, and he's trying to win favor with his customers. And he doesn't, he didn't want a 1999 Freightliner showing up at his door.
Exactly. Very true. Very true.
So tell us about some of the events that are going to be happening coming up.
Sure. Of course, the show itself is the main thrust for everybody to be there. But we'll be having some demonstrations on Thursday. One of the gentlemen from chapter in Ohio is going to give us a little demonstration using his winch truck.
Right.
We're going to have a demonstration on Jake Brake and its operations, finding and making parts. The ice cream social, it's going to be that evening. On Friday, there's going to be some transmission demonstrations. We're going to talk about the Bigfoot truck hauler. The Autocar group is having a meeting there. And then Saturday will kind of be the last day there. It comes and goes so fast. We're going to have a life member luncheon, a couple other demonstrations.
When is your awards banquet that you usually?
It's Friday night.
Oh, that's Friday night. Is that the ice cream social?
Nope. The ice cream social is Thursday night
Right.
from 7 to 9. And then as soon as that's over, we're going to have a light show.
That's always cool.
Oh, yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah, that really is fun.
That's a blast. And then Saturday night will be the awards banquet.
That's
so
great.
We can make some presentations.
That's unusual. You don't usually do it on the Saturday, do you? The awards banquet. It's usually done.
No.
That's great.
We do it on Friday night because everybody's still there.
Right.
Saturday, there's some folks that need to get headed back towards home so they can go back to work on Monday, and whatever the case may be. So
sure,
Friday night works the best.
And some of the equipment, it's always incredible. And ladies and gentlemen, I can attest to this. If you're thinking about buying an old truck, this is a place you may find it.
Very true.
A couple of these shows.
Very true. Very true. And we don't know what the numbers are going to be. That's COVID really, again, we could predict within 25 trucks how many were going to be there before COVID, and after that, it's almost through a dart. Our pre-registrations look good. We're hoping for 800. We'll see. The fuel situation certainly is not helping that at all.
No, it's expensive to go to these shows, whether you're driving your family car or driving a big truck, and people are bringing their big trucks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, we have so much fun coming and going. we really do. This is the closest one for us. We're from South Texas. This is the closest one for us. So we're gonna goof off for 2 days, but we're not getting on an interstate highway. We're gonna take state highways all the way.
Oh, that's great.
And that's, we'll have a blast. When we went to Reno, we got on Highway 50. We ran Highway 50 for, my God, from eastern Colorado clear to Reno almost, and we had a ball. But
those second, you know what? The interstate highways are great to make time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No doubt about it. But if you want to see the real heartland of America, for God's sakes, get on the secondary roads and go through these towns, and you're going to see history. You don't see anything on an interstate.
No.
When you're in a big truck and you've got a schedule to meet, you're not sightseeing.
No.
You're just, you're
Got a
pulling
job to do.
you're pulling a box loaded with somebody's cargo, and it's getting to market. That's all it is. I hate to say it, but like my old friend Sheldon Langner said, it's prostitution with trucks.
Yeah. Oh my. Yep.
But when you get on those secondary roads and you can really see, and especially when you're driving an old truck on those secondary roads, now all of a sudden you've brought it right back to what that truck did, because the interstate highway system being complete it's not that long ago.
Right. That's very true. And that's one other thing that is going to be pretty cool this year. It is the 100th anniversary of Route 66.
Yes.
And of course, that goes right through Springfield.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the headwaters of it, sort of.
Seemingly so, Chuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's going to be all kinds of extra hoopla for the 100th anniversary of Route 66.
Well, I was actually thinking of my wife loves road trips, but she's not like me where she wants to do 500 or 600 miles a day.
Right.
She'd love me a lot more on these road trips if I only did 2 or 3.
Right.
And I would love her a lot more. She'd let me do 6 or 7. So we kind of fit it in. But
right.
One of the things that I suggested is we start in Chicago and we take Route 66 all the way to the end in Santa Monica. I did that route as a little boy, turning 7 years old. My dad had a Cadillac convertible, 57 Eldorado convertible with a big fins. And my dad had this. He didn't live long, and he kind of had a premonition, and he lived hard. And he borrowed some money, and we went on this trip of a lifetime. And that was in 1960, so that was 66 years ago.
Yeah.
It's only fitting 66 years ago that I go on Route 66.
Route 66, right.
So I think I may have my wife convinced for this one, and we'll just drive from here to Chicago is nothing, and then drive out to Santa Monica, and we have family in Vancouver, so drive down there, or maybe even leave the car in Santa Monica, fly to Vancouver, and then drive it home.
Sure.
Cool. We'll figure that part out later on.
Cool. That sounds like a blast.
It's not a 57 Eldorado.
No, right. But
tell me something. This came up the other day. Now you were driving. You've been in the industry since '78, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's when we started. Yeah.
So where did you start? Were you a mechanic or company driver or what?
Yeah, so I'm a farm kid, raised on a farm, so
Right.
We had trucks around all the time anyway. My grandpa also had a bulk oil agency.
Okay.
And so on Saturday, I would go he had 5 gas stations along with this bulk oil agency. I'd go to a gas station with him and work on Saturday. Sunday, we went and got product in a butterfly hood Kenworth and delivered to the farms and then back to the bulk plant.
Right.
So my job on Sunday morning was to check the water, check the oil,
right,
get it started. And I was 6, 7 years old, and I'm telling you, it was all I could do. Pull the compression release.
Yes.
Reach over here for the starter button and get that thing going after I got everything checked out in it. So anyway, at that point I was already hooked. But I went to a tech school. I went to Wyoming Tech, graduated from there, went to work for Caterpillar in a coal mine up in northwestern Colorado. Then went to work at Kenworth in a body shop. and then decided that we needed to go trucking. So that's how we
Call of the
started.
road.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
what year would that Kenworth have been, Marty?
my grandpa's,
Yeah.
I really don't know, but it had had a single piece shell on it. I remember that.
Right.
So it was pre 57.
And do you remember what engine was in it?
It had a 180 and a 4 and a 3. Cummins
Okay.
180 and a 4 and a 3. Later on, he put a 220 in it.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was a screamer, man. I think it was like 56 miles an hour or something like that. But
You don't like people that grew up with these, big modern electronic engines and air conditioning and all the creature comforts, air ride seats.
right?
Didn't realize what we grew up with driving, and it's great for me to get back into I've got 11 old trucks, and some of them, like I have a 54, and that's the first time I've seen the decompression switch. I've never seen that before.
Oh, right.
And actually, I bought it from a member, ATHS member, Alan. I'm trying to remember his last name, in California. It's a LTL Mac, and he lives and I went to go see it, and it was an incredible experience even going there to see it, because it was in wine country in Healdsburg, California.
Wow.
Beautiful area. I got in late in the afternoon, got to his farm. He grew grapes there, and just a really nice man. And he showed me the truck. He had two of them, and he said, "You know what? We're burning daylight. Let's go for a ride." And I hadn't driven a twin stick in probably 30 years. And you know what? It's no different than riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
And I'm driving this truck through these gorgeous winery roads, and the sun's just coming down. And
Wow.
it was one of those aha moments, and I appreciated the truck, and he did a beautiful job restoring it. And I bought it right there and then, and had it picked up, and and I call that truck Merlot because it comes from wine country.
Of course.
It's kind of a reddish, a burgundy color.
There you go.
But you don't realize, people that grew up in these new modern trucks don't realize what the old timers went through. I'll have young drivers they'll come by to see my trucks, and they'll say, "Oh, can I get into a cab over?" And I go, "Sure." And they climb up and they go, "How the hell do you guys ever drive these things?" And they're like, they're trying to figure out how to. And I always tell people, 3 points, okay, 2 hands and 1 foot, or 2 feet and 1 hand to get up. But you've got to be almost an acrobat to get in the damn things.
No kidding.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, some of our forefathers, boy, those guys, they really wanted to go trucking, man. I'll tell you, because that had to be a tough
that
life.
Spirit, that whole spirit. Like today, you can't even. I talk to friends of mine that run fleets, and they can't even get the guys to check the tires. I'm not joking. And then I was in Australia twice, and I was there the second time with Dean Croak. And when you meet these guys that drive the Outback, these are throwbacks to the generation before us. These guys can rebuild a truck at the side of the road.
Sure.
And the other thing is, when they're rebuilding it, everybody stops to help.
Novel concept, huh?
Yeah. Where today, for the last 15, 20 years, I have watched drivers from the same company drive right by somebody from their company that was in distress, and just because they have a schedule to keep.
Right.
There was an auto plant that was waiting for those goods.
And that ELD's running, right?
Oh yeah, that's yeah, that was a big change for our industry.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been more changes lately, and some of them have been wonderful. a shout out to this administration for finally stepping in, Sean Duffy and everybody stepping in and finally fixing this sick cow, because it's been overlooked since deregulation, really.
Right. So deregulation was our nemesis. I mean, we had some really good authority that we had paid a lot of money for, and had great clientele, and we were making money. And all of a sudden, they call you in and say, your guys are the best. You never break down. You're never late. We can always count on you. But there's 6 guys standing in line that'll do it for half.
Because they didn't have the overhead of the licenses.
Exactly. They're hot shot and that stuff. And anyway,
it really it did change our industry, and I don't think that I don't think a lot of the younger people understand any of that, because it's changed so much.
It has, and there's just so much history there, and the way all that came down, and so forth. If you're interested, just read a little bit. It's phenomenal the way some of that happened.
Now, sometimes I've been to a couple of the conventions where you have some great storytellers there, older fellows. I actually can't call them older fellows anymore.
Right.
But where you have some of the older fellas that are talking about what it was like in a pre-deregulated world, and totally different. And it's changed so much, and unfortunately, things change.
Sure.
Now the corner store, you go downtown into very exclusive shopping areas, what were exclusive shopping areas, and store after store is boarded up in any town because everybody's buying from Amazon.
Right.
Unless it's a very, very high-end store, and that's serving 1% of the population.
Yeah.
And even people that don't, I was looking for something the other day, and I've got to get my wife to buy it for me on Amazon. Because I have a problem every time I get on Amazon, it's still trying to sell me hoses that I was trying to buy one air hose, and it was trying to sell me 5, and I didn't want 5. I wanted 1.
Just need one.
Every time I go to log in, it's trying to sell me those. I just get my wife to buy it on her account, but I can't get it anywhere else. That's part of the problem.
I know. That's very true. Yeah. And the way they, they'll bring some of that stuff right to your doorstep overnight. Man, it's hard to beat sometimes, Chuck. It really is.
I know. One of the members, who's a very close friend of mine, he heard a ruckus at 2:00 in the morning, and he goes to the door, and here's an Amazon delivery person bringing him something he ordered at 8:00 that night. It's just like, it's gone. But it's all about speed. It's all about fulfillment of order. And you know what? Doing things right isn't, it's not part of it anymore. That's part of it.
I was always raised to be mostly concerned with quality, not necessarily quantity.
Yes.
And do it right the first time, and if it takes you a little longer, oh well. It's different, expectations are different. People are different.
You know what? It's a voluminous world today.
It is.
And it's, I was raised the same way. And when I got into trucking, I realized very quickly, you're as good as your last load.
Yeah, absolutely.
So every load better be delivered perfectly.
Yeah.
And today, it's not quite the same.
No.
He'll show up when he gets there, except if you're dealing with automotive or something.
Yeah, it's a different world for sure.
But it's the trucking goes on, and it's an incredible industry.
It is.
And I want to. Unfortunately, I have a family member that's getting some surgery next week, so I'm not able to attend. That came up. I actually had my hotel room booked months ago. I was originally going to drive down in one of my non-air conditioned trucks, and I got to tell you, I'm getting a little soft, buddy.
Oh, I hear you. I absolutely hear you. No, I
You
don't
know,
hear
I
you.
drove. I bought this. I bought this B model Mac. It's a B75, and I bought it from a fellow in Virginia last year, and I took it to a show that was only about 50 miles, and it was a scorcher day. And my God, any sauna bath I ever had was nowhere near what that B model was. And that truck, it would make it like it had a body off restoration back in '97, and it sat basically in a museum. So it's like a brand new
Oh,
truck.
wow.
It has 900 miles on it since restoration.
Wow.
And I was kind of thinking, if I take that one down to Springfield, heads are going to just, the heads will be looking at it. It'll
Yeah.
be popular.
Yeah.
But then I thought, you know what? Driving that thing 1,064 miles, no.
I hear you.
So,
I hear you.
Your truck, I'm sure, has air conditioning.
It does. It does.
Now,
And I love it.
listeners, you did a lot of work on your Kenworth.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's the second one I've done this same model, and I spent 6 years on it. It's turned out to be just a really good truck. It's super easy to drive. It's really good for an old man like me. My wife can crawl back there and take a nap, and be cold or be warm or whatever she wants. And
What year is
it's just really good.
Marty? What year is yours? What model? Tell us.
It's a 79.
Okay,
79. Mhm.
That's the W9.
Yeah, it is W900A. It's got a
Oh, that's the A
3406.
model with the thinner. And what's in it for power?
It's got a 3406B cat in it, 400 cat, 15 over, 370.
Was that the original motor?
So we were talking about trucks and their stories, right?
Yes, they
No.
all have great stories.
Originally, it was a V8 cat.
Okay, Ooh,
So
that's a rare bird.
yeah, and had a 14-speed Spicer transmission in it. So we found this thing, and it was pretty much on its last leg anyway. Spent 6 years redoing it, and I just had a buddy of mine run the serial number on this 3406 just to see where it came from, what the heck it might be out of. It was sold new to the Kenworth dealer in Kansas City,
Right.
as a crate engine in February of 1980.
Right.
And that was the selling dealer of the truck that I own.
Wow.
So I assume something happened to the V8.
Right.
And they put this 3406 in there.
Ah, okay.
So it's more than a coincidence, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And it has a 15 over.
15 over. Yeah.
Yeah. They were real common back then.
They were, and they're such, gosh, that's awfully reliable stuff. I mean, I've always had trucks with 2 transmissions in them, always. Man, this thing might spoil you. Just put the thing in high gear and let's go. I mean, and for about the first, this is the second year we've had it. The first year I'm going like this all the time, trying to find that auxiliary over there to change gears. It just ain't there. No, we're really
never
enjoying
worked that truck at all, did you?
No, just toy.
Yeah. No, you know what? You get to be a certain age and you figure, I've always wanted one. If I don't do it now, I'm never going to have it.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. So,
and you know what? We never get time back.
No, we don't, Chuck. And that's becoming more and more evident every day.
With all of us, it is.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Marty, I don't want to keep you. I really appreciate everything you've done. I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate what you've done for the ATHS and for our industry and for the group of us that collect old trucks. You're a tireless warrior on our behalf. You really are.
Well, thank you very much, Chuck. I appreciate it. And it's people like you that believe in ATHS and that support ATHS, and you're such a great friend of the society. And you and I have become pretty good friends too over the years, and that's what makes it worthwhile. We just really appreciate each and every member.
You do, and you show it. You know what? I think when people walk into those conventions, they can feel the respect that is given to the attendees, whether they're members or not. Everybody gets the same amount. It's not like anything else. It's not like going to a car show.
No, it sure is not.
It's almost like a family reunion.
It is. It really is. I mean,
and even if you don't even have a truck, you're part of the family by showing up.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So anybody listening, if you're anywhere near Springfield or you can get to Springfield, you don't want to wait another year for the next convention. You want to do it this year. It's going to be a great one, and Springfield, located in just such a beautiful area. I've been remiss in my duties. I ask anybody that's watching this, please give us a like. That helps for our algorithms. Marty, I wish you a safe journey. Can you tell anybody that wants to get hold of you, best way to get hold of you, an email address or something?
Sure. Email is great, and it's kampkw55@yahoo.com. You can go onto the ATHS website, aths.org. You can look me up there. Our president, David Snouts, all of the officers are there. All of our staff's email addresses are there. Feel free. Reach out with questions. Do our best to get you answered. They're going like about Mach 9 with her hair on fire right now. They're in Kansas City.
So. You know what? If anybody listening has ever made a wedding for a child, this would be like making a wedding for thousands of people.
Very true. Very true. Oh,
and
gosh.
Speaking of the ATHS website, it's a great website, but what the hidden gem, I think personally, on that website is the back lot. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see some great trucks for sale, look at the back lot on the ATHS website. It's the best, and all sorts of trucks for sale, older trucks. It's just great. Marty, I'm going to let you get out of here, and I guess I'm going to back it in a hole for another week. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Marty Glomb, and we want to thank him for joining us. I'm Chuck Snow, the co-host, for my host, Rico Muhammad, who's somewhere in the background here watching this, doing something else that he had to get done. And if the good Lord's willing, we will see you next Tuesday, same time, same place. As Rico always says, keep it between the mustard and the mayonnaise. As I always say, catch on the flip-flop. We'll see you next week. God bless. Take care, and a safe trip to Springfield. Be with you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.